Hey, what's up, guys? Marvel DC Extinction Wrestlers here, and today I want to talk about the MCU and how they should probably improve upon the quality of their movies. I'm also going to be taking out the Marvel Netflix shows. This is just um, how you can make them more watchable for the people because it seems like the MCU has been kind of polarizing seen for years for many people, including myself. So let's begin. So our first one up is less comedy. One of the things about Marvel that makes it different is that you don't really have as many comedy characters. And the fact that in the MCU you do that, it's like not only is that a big fuck you to the fans, but it's also kind of insulting to what Marvel writers clearly want to do. Because when you take a look at stories like Demon in a Bottle, I think what was it called, it was this iconic Iron Man story where he goes through alcohol, and MCU's never establishing that. In fact, they actually just killed off Iron Man, so the chances of that story never happening, it's kind of insulting to what that story was meant to be because around that time people were having alcoholic and drug problems, and when you don't establish stuff like that, it becomes very apparent that you just don't care about the source material. Second is actually establish if you're going to take a realistic or not realistic approach. This has been a big issue ever since Mysterio was introduced. And I will talk about Mysterio, but one of the biggest things about the Arrowverse is that it's a supernatural universe because you have Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow. Now I know we have like Batwoman and Black Lightning, but I'm not going to include those shows. Just those four shows I just mentioned. Three of them are supernatural. One of them is a dark, realistic show. So why doesn't the MCU take inspiration from the Arrowverse where, okay, we're gonna make this a thing. Captain America, maybe Iron Man, um, Daredevil, Shang-Chi, all those characters like Spider-Man, you're gonna be taking a more realistic approach. But guys like the Hulk, Thor, Doctor Strange are gonna be more supernatural elements because that, in my opinion, would have worked better. You could argue the Captain America movies were already more realistic. No, they weren't. They just weren't. Um, Number three is show more violence. Stop with this family friendly stuff. It just doesn't work with superheroes. Like, I understand Batman or Robin came out, but that was like the 1990s when stuff wasn't, when comic books weren't like a big thing at the time. Like, comics were there, but they were only just to make people look at some of the silly stuff. But nowadays they've grown past that. They now become more mature, almost rated R even. Yeah. And the next one is stop pandering to your fan base. This is a big complaint because um the MCU has a lot of fans, but the majority of those fans are people that love the comedy, love how every MCU plays out, and that therefore it makes it lackluster for some people, for like half the people, because I'm one of the people that hates it because it not only does it show you're pandering more into that fan base, like Thor Ragnarok is a great example of comedy just being way too much, and you can clearly tell it's pandering to that fan base. You don't pander so far into the fan base to the point where you no longer become a superhero movie. Next up is stop steering away from the source material. This is a big issue for the MCU. They faced a lot of like steering away from the source material to the point where you really cannot find many references, and I think that's a big issue. We should be able to find references. Like I could find references in other media, like in other shows and movies, and I cannot find almost any in the MCU, and I think that's really showing when they're going for this more comedy tone. They're sometimes too far into it to the point that's the one thing they focus on. Next one is the final one. Stop overhyping your movies. I've actually just watched some reviews on Black Widow, and it seems like a lot of people did not really enjoy the movie. Um, and same thing happens with Endgame and Infinity War. When you overhype your movie so much, some people no longer like it because they were overhyping. Like Thanos is a great example. Kevin Feige has stated multiple times that Thanos was like the most powerful supervillain the MCU would ever have, and yet he came out to be a complete disaster as he would really not even stand a chance against even the Scarecrow from the comics, the Batman Scarecrow for those wondering. And that's it because Thanos in the comics would absolutely annihilate Scarecrow, and the fact that Scarecrow would even beat this Thanos, it's really sad. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this rant video. This is just more a rant for MCU and just saying how they could fix this in Phase 4, but I think they're way too past that because now we're in Phase 4. I kind of want to just say how they could fix the MCU, turn to a much rated R tone. How about you guys? How about Marvel? How about don't hire Disney, go to the CW. They're much better for Marvel content. I mean, look at the Arrowverse. They were on the CW and they were much better. And they actually, in my opinion, had better quality than the entire MCU has. Yes. Yes. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'll see you next time. Please subscribe to my channel. And goodbye.